All right, welcome here to episode 52 of Phoenix Rising Live. Thank you for joining me. And today's conversation is around the idea of hoping versus praying versus allowing. And this is a non-religious conversation, just to be clear about that up front, but a very spiritual conversation because from my perspective, existence here is a spiritual experience. Spirit is where we are all residing, and this physical world is simply an extension of that realm, an extension of our consciousness. It's not separate. It can't be separate. It's impossible for this physical experience to be separate from anything else in existence, because if that were the case, it simply would not be able to exist. Separation is not a fact. It's not even a possibility. It's simply a perception, and perceptions are not true. And this is why the key distinction between the idea of hoping, the idea of praying, and the idea of allowing are so important to accept as an experience for yourself, first and foremost. And of course, with accepting the experience comes knowledge and wisdom. And so if we really allow that to be our process, rather than understanding, allowing ourselves to accept as the first point of interaction with any idea, then that's when we gain the knowledge that we need to know about it. And that's when it's no longer simply intellectual, as some people describe, but it's fully intuitive, it's fully known. It's you. And that's an illusion of separation, is when something's known intellectually but not applied, it's not really known. You've created a sense of separateness from the idea. And so you may have a glimpse of it, but it's not being fully weaved into your life. And that's exactly what this concept about hoping versus praying versus allowing is all about. Hoping is coming from a place of not knowing, uncertainty, lack, hoping that things will be different. Generally speaking, coming from your own individuality, not accessing the higher power source that is available, and often from a victim mentality, not doing anything about it, not taking action on your inspiration, often coming from a lower negative state, maybe a depressed state, state of disempowerment, state of believing that things are not in your control, so you're hoping that they somehow get better. And remember, this is my definition. This is my perception. There's 7 or 8 billion different views on the word hope and hoping. So this is Matthew's perspective. And obviously, if it resonates with you, if it aligns with you, and you can guide yourself to witness and experience the distinctions between these ideas, it will empower you to thrive and to expand and to tap in and tune into the reality that you prefer to live. So hoping is essentially a place coming from victimhood, because you're not doing anything and you're not accessing the power that's available for you to teleport into a different reality, teleport in the quantum sense. So that's hoping from my perspective. Praying is sort of a step up, if you will, in the sense that you're recognizing there's a higher power that may be able to support you, but you're still praying for things to change. You're praying for things to be different. You're giving your power away to God. And that might sound kind of strange, because you might say, Matthew, isn't that what the whole point of prayer is surrendering to God? And there's another distinction there, is of course you're surrendering to the higher power, which is you, but you're not giving your power away to it. You're recognizing that it is your power. Prayer doesn't necessarily do that. And again, there's multiple forms of prayer, multiple definitions of prayer. And this is simply a conversation piece for you to distinguish, where are you on the scale? How are you utilizing this power that's always here, which will be the third step. But more on prayer for a moment. The idea that things are broken, things need to be fixed, things need to be changed, things need to be controlled in a different manner. Just acknowledging yourself right now, can you relate to feeling that way? Let go and let God. Okay, well, what does that mean though? Are you letting God change things to your preference because that's the way you think they need to be, or that's the way you want them to be? And there's some subtle distinctions here, so pay attention to what I'm saying. Because the next step of allowing is simply allowing things to be the way they need to be and knowing that source power is doing that. You don't need to command source power. You don't need to direct source power. What you need to do is get your own mind, your own consciousness in alignment with that, in alignment with reality. So it's not about asking God to do anything. God's giving you everything all the time, supporting every belief you've ever had, positive or negative. That's unconditional support. That's unconditional love. Do you get that? Can you accept that? That you're always being supported. You're being supported in your negative viewpoints, and you're being supported in your positive viewpoints. So if you're carrying negativity, God is supporting that. Existence is supporting that. It's just a machine. It's just a mechanism. What you put in is what you get out. So that's why you want to alleviate the negative definitions from your mind, from your consciousness, because you'll just continue getting them. God doesn't change it for you. God provides everything you need to change it for yourself. So that's empowerment. That's allowing. You're allowing your own mind to change. You're allowing your own consciousness to evolve through the power of God, through this source power. It's like the electricity in your home. Hoping would be looking at the light switch, hoping that it flicks itself. Praying would be understanding that there's a current running through here and paving a path so that you can actually go and find the willpower to flick that light switch. And allowing would simply just be allowing that inner wisdom to know all you have to do is go and turn it on, and now you'll have light in the room. So, a crude analogy perhaps, but I think you get the picture. So that's the idea here, is there's nothing to hope for. There's nothing to pray for. It's already all happening. It's all here. And the only reason why you're not in alignment with happiness and joy and truth and prosperity is because you're resisting it. You're not turning on the light switch. You're thinking that someone else needs to do it for you. You're thinking that it's going to happen on its own. And the whole point of this physical experience is to get up and turn on the light switch yourself. And you need to hear this. You need to hear that the law of attraction isn't about what you're thinking. It has nothing to do with what you're thinking because your thoughts are just byproducts of your emotions. And it's not about what you're emoting either. It's not necessarily about your emotions and energy either, because those are byproducts of your beliefs. Those are byproducts of your perceptions. And you might be thinking, well, what's the distinction between a thought and a perception? And a thought is the things that you're ruminating about and that you're trying to change and fix. Affirmations in general are addressing thoughts, and that's why they don't necessarily work. But once you start accessing higher power and recognize that you can allow source to run your life, then you can get in alignment with affirmations that are more conducive to your success, of course. So everything works. It's just, are you using it in the right order with the right formula? So you want to get in touch with the core beliefs. That's what's giving you the feelings. And so that's what we address at the Phoenix Rising Masterclass. That's what we'll be addressing today at the Quantum Goal Activation class, is what are your core beliefs? When you can allow those to change and transform, simply by observing them, getting in touch with them, recognizing that they don't make sense, they are subconscious. So your thoughts aren't subconscious because you have a thought. You're conscious of it. But changing that thought doesn't necessarily mean anything in your life is going to change. But if you follow that thread of that thought back to the emotion, back to the core belief, and there may be other layered beliefs before you can get to the core belief. So it's a process. And there are multiple ways of addressing that, multiple permission slips, if you will, from my perspective, elevating your energy, elevating your consciousness to see these things more easily, making them more accessible is the easiest way to do it, because then you simply observe your beliefs and you recognize whether they make sense or don't make sense. And as soon as you recognize they don't make sense, truly, profoundly, at the deepest level, then they don't hold any weight. And it's like graduating from one grade class to the next. Once you graduate grade 2, you recognize it doesn't make sense to go back there. Once you understand something because you've experienced it, because you've accepted it, now you have the wisdom and the knowledge, you recognize if that thing wasn't serving you, there's no reason to do it. Follow that common sense. It doesn't make sense to go into your kitchen, turn on your stove, and put your hand on one of the hot burners. It's senseless. So when you recognize that all of your negative perceptions are held in that same light, but you know it fundamentally in your core, that's when you're allowing your life. And that's what God's providing you with. That's what existence is providing you with. The wisdom, the knowledge, the insight, the enlightenment to shine the light of your consciousness onto your life, onto your beliefs. It's always here. And the more you do that, the more the negative beliefs disassemble. So the more you're in this space of self-discovery and self-honesty and integrity, God is supporting you. God is supporting you in that journey to shine the light of your consciousness on all the negative ideas you've ever held. In any life, in any time. All you have to do is allow that power to manifest through you, conduct through you, open the channels, relax, release, be silent. And as you're doing that, you'll naturally find an inner sense of peace, because all is well. All is perfect as it is. You're just allowing it to be what it is, and you know that it'll transform and change as it needs to. How simple is that? There's nothing easier than this life. There's nothing easier than allowing God to run your life. There's nothing easier than allowing existence to exist and do what it does. It supports every aspect of your life. So get in touch with your core definitions. Join us for the Quantum Goal Activation class today at 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And get in touch with your core identity. What do you truly believe? It requires a great level of honesty and integrity and gratitude and humility in order to release these beliefs about yourself that may no longer be serving you, that are no longer serving you. And you simply allow the light of your consciousness to shine and the positive perceptions to amplify, to expand, to extend across your consciousness. That is heaven on earth. It's already here. You're not awaiting it. The perfect timing is here and now. And for this evening's episode, I will be discussing the threshold of timelines, how we have our own natural timeline to be experiencing. So more on that this evening at 8 p.m. So you have multiple conduits to tap into what I'm providing, multiple conduits to tap into your own source power through the messages that I receive and give to all of you. So thank you for being a part of my life and my network. I love you all, and I will see you at multiple touch points throughout today, Wednesday, my teaching day. See you at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for the Quantum Goal Activation class. Bye for now.